Have you ever felt like you're fooling everyone around you, that any minute now they'll discover you're not as competent as they think you are? Do you often second-guess your abilities despite clear evidence of your accomplishments? Maybe you've even brushed off your successes as mere flukes or the result of extraordinary luck. This feeling of being an imposter, a fraud in your own life, is more common than you might think. Many of us from all walks of life and across a variety of professional fields grapple with this self-doubt. It's a silent whisper in our minds, undermining our confidence, questioning our abilities, and feeding our fears of exposure. However, it's not all doom and gloom. In fact, acknowledging this feeling is the first step to overcoming it. If this resonates with you, you might be dealing with what psychologists call the imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome isn't just about feeling inadequate. It's about believing you're inadequate, even when there's clear evidence you're not. Imposter syndrome is a psychological pattern where individuals doubt their accomplishments and fear being exposed as a fraud. Even when they achieve something significant, they attribute it to luck, timing, or deceiving others into thinking they are more intelligent or competent than they believe themselves to be. Our understanding of imposter syndrome traces back to the 1970s thanks to the pioneering work of psychologists Dr. Pauline Roseclance and Dr. Suzanne Imes. They first identified this phenomenon while studying high-achieving women who, despite their evident success, couldn't shake off the feeling of being imposters. However, it's important to note that imposter syndrome isn't exclusive to women. It affects a wide range of people across genders, professions, and walks of life. Imposter syndrome can manifest in various ways. Some people might work excessively, driven by a fear of failure. Others might procrastinate or avoid challenging tasks to steer clear of the risk of failure. And yet, some others might constantly seek validation, unable to internalize a sense of accomplishment. In the professional realm, this can lead to burnout, stress, and an inability to reach one's full potential. In personal lives, it can strain relationships and hinder self-growth. The effects of imposter syndrome are pervasive and profound, often impacting overall mental health. But here's the thing about imposter syndrome. It's not a definitive measure of your competence or worth. It's a distorted perception of self. It's a voice in your head telling you you're not good enough, even when you are. And like any other voice, it can be challenged and changed. Renowned psychologists like Dr. Clance and Dr. Imes have dedicated years understanding and demystifying this phenomenon, and their work forms the basis of many strategies we use today to combat imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome can be a crippling obstacle, but the good news is it's not a life sentence. You can overcome it. Recognizing imposter syndrome is the first step towards overcoming it. Now, you might be wondering, what are the signs that someone might be grappling with this psychological phenomenon? Well, it often manifests in a few common ways. Firstly, it can appear as chronic self-doubt. This isn't just the occasional, "Oh, I'm not sure I can do this." It's a persistent nagging feeling that you're not as competent as others perceive you to be, no matter how much evidence there is to the contrary. Secondly, you may find yourself attributing your success to luck rather than your own abilities or hard work. You might catch yourself thinking, "I just got lucky," or "I was in the right place at the right time," even when it's clear that your achievements are a result of your own skills and efforts. Thirdly, there's a fear of failure. Now, everyone experiences this fear to some extent, but for those with imposter syndrome, the fear of failing is often paralyzing. It's not just about not wanting to fail, it's about being terrified of what that failure might reveal about your abilities, or rather, your perceived lack thereof. Lastly, perfectionism is a common trait in those dealing with imposter syndrome. You may find that you're never satisfied with your work, always believing you could have done better, should have done better. This relentless pursuit of perfection can be exhausting and ultimately unproductive. So what makes us susceptible to these feelings? Experts suggest that it could be a combination of personality traits and external factors. Perfectionists and high achievers are often more prone to imposter syndrome. External factors such as societal expectations, pressure at work or school, or even comments from family or friends can also contribute to these feelings of fraudulence. Once you recognize these signs, you can start to challenge the imposter syndrome. The journey to overcoming self-doubt and embracing your success begins with awareness. With recognition comes the power to change your thought patterns and, ultimately, your perception of yourself. Overcoming imposter syndrome involves changing the way you think about yourself and your abilities. This is a journey that starts with acknowledging the presence of those nagging thoughts of doubt and inadequacy. Picture this: you've just completed a task successfully, but instead of basking in the glory of your achievement, you're swarmed with thoughts like, "I just got lucky," or "They're going to find out I'm not as competent as they think." Sounds familiar? That's imposter syndrome speaking, and the first step to silencing it is by recognizing and challenging these negative thoughts. Renowned life coach Tony Robbins often speaks about the power of our beliefs and how they shape our actions. He suggests that we should challenge our self-limiting beliefs. So the next time you find yourself doubting your capabilities, stop and ask yourself, is this thought based on fact, or is it just a product of my fears? More often than not, you'll find that it's the latter. Another effective strategy to combat imposter syndrome is seeking support. You're not alone in this battle. Many people, even the most accomplished ones, experience these feelings of self-doubt. Reach out to them, share your experiences, and listen to theirs. You'll find comfort and reassurance knowing that others have walked this path and have come out victorious. Brené Brown, a research professor and New York Times best-selling author, emphasizes the importance of vulnerability in overcoming imposter syndrome. She suggests that being open about your feelings and experiences not only helps you connect with others on a deeper level, but also allows you to accept your imperfections and see them as a part of your unique journey, not as a sign of inadequacy. Remember, it's perfectly fine to not know everything and to make mistakes. After all, nobody is perfect. Even the most successful people have their fair share of failures. What sets them apart is their ability to learn from these failures and to keep going despite the obstacles. So, forgive yourself for not knowing all the answers. Embrace the opportunity to learn and grow. Celebrate your achievements no matter how small they may seem. And most importantly, remind yourself of your worth and your abilities. You are not an imposter. You are competent, capable, and worthy of all the success that comes your way. And let's not forget, overcoming imposter syndrome isn't about becoming immune to self-doubt or striving for perfection. We're all human, and feelings of self-doubt are a part of our human experience. The goal is to manage these feelings, to not let them hold you back or control your actions. So the next time you find yourself questioning your worth or abilities, remember these strategies. Apply them, practice them, until they become second nature. And before you know it, you'll have taken control of your self-doubt and imposter syndrome will be a thing of the past. Remember, overcoming imposter syndrome isn't about becoming perfect or never feeling self-doubt. It's about managing those feelings and not letting them control you. Overcoming imposter syndrome isn't easy, but it's worth it. As we've journeyed together through this exploration of imposter syndrome, we've uncovered some fundamental truths. We've seen that this phenomenon isn't a rare occurrence, but a shared experience. It's a silent partner to many of us, whispering doubts in our ears, questioning our abilities, our worthiness, our very right to be where we are. We've learned that imposter syndrome doesn't discriminate. It can affect anyone, regardless of their profession, background, or level of success. It's a shapeshifter, changing its form to fit the contours of our insecurities. We've discovered that recognizing imposter syndrome is a crucial first step. By giving it a name, we strip it of some of its power. We can't fight what we can't see, and by bringing it into the light, we give ourselves a fighting chance. We've also explored strategies to combat this insidious foe. We've looked at the importance of challenging negative self-talk, of seeking support, of reframing failure as a learning opportunity, and of practicing self-compassion. We've seen that these strategies are not quick fixes, but ongoing practices that require commitment and patience. But most importantly, we've understood that it's time to embrace our success. We need to stop downplaying our achievements, stop attributing our accomplishments to luck or timing, and start acknowledging our hard work, our talent, our dedication. We need to claim our victories, celebrate them, cherish them. They are ours, and no one can take them away from us. We need to remember that our worth is not determined by external validation, but by our own self-belief. It's time to silence that nagging voice of doubt and start listening to the voice of confidence, of self-assuredness, of belief in our abilities. Recognize imposter syndrome for what it is, a lie. You are competent, you are capable, and you are worthy of your success. Well, this concludes this episode of Human Nature Explained, your go-to channel for unraveling the complexities of human behavior. Like and subscribe to join us on a journey of discovery as we seek to understand the fundamental aspects of human behavior, emotions, cognition, and relationships. Self-improvement and mindfulness starts with an understanding of our behavior and those around us. Here at Human Nature Explained, we believe that by having this knowledge, we can gain valuable insights into ourselves and others, fostering empathy, compassion, and personal growth. Until next time.